So welcome to an Artful Moment. I wanted to tell you about Notan. A Notan is a Japanese term that literally means light-dark harmony. So the elements of art that we're going to work on today is line, shape, and then either symmetrical or asymmetrical depending upon how you want to do your Notan. So this is a Notan, and this one is symmetrical, meaning that it's shadowing each other exactly. This one is asymmetrical because if you see the cutout here, it's not going over this way, it's going this way. So you can do it either way that you want. My tree here is also asymmetrical. I did a tree Notan. And this one, because I wasn't paying attention, is kind of both. So this one's going the opposite way, but this one's going exactly is symmetrical. So this is asymmetrical and this is symmetrical. So you can kind of play with however you want to do it. And then I did this fun one yesterday, and this one really kind of goes off the wall. And I always learn as I go, and what I realized is I shouldn't cut on the corner. But you know, that's how you learn, is by making those creative mistakes. So the idea is we're going to take, I always like to use the black paper for my middle ground, and I'm going to draw some design on it, and then we're going to cut the design out. Now, if you've never done this before, don't make your design too complicated, because you can't, you have to cut right along the line of your drawing in order for it to work. Excuse me, as its shadow side. So we've got light that we're dealing with, and we've got dark that we're dealing with. And set that down here. I'm going to get my black piece of paper, and I'm going to decide what design I want. So it could be just shapes, kind of like this one. It could be a something recognizable like a tree or the flower and butterfly. All right, so I'm just going to outline my design, and I'm going to do something similar to this, where I've got some circles and different things going on. So I'm going to start by just drawing the shape that I want, and I'm going to do it a couple times so I can have a couple things going on. And maybe to make it a little fun, I'll vary it a little bit and do a little wave over here. It can be very organic. You don't have to have it be all the same. And because I'm playing a little bit, I'm going to just do some different things. Maybe this one I'll do kind of up here and then down, kind of like a mountain. I have fun when I do the pictures, but those take a lot of time. But just for the fun of it, I'm going to throw in a picture too. I think I'll put a butterfly in here just so you can see how that might work. So I'm going to draw my butterfly. I'm going to draw half of the body because then it's going to mirror the other half. And then I like to cut out, circles are really hard, but I like to cut out some little shapes within it in the wings so that I have black on this side and then the white will be shown on that side. And just for the fun of it, I'm going to put, let's see, I'll put two butterflies. I'll put a little, or maybe I'll do a little beetle down here. I like doing bugs, so I'll do a little beetle. I'll do some circles in that, which are challenging to cut, but All right, so here's my outline of what I'm going to do. All right, and then I've got 3 pairs of scissors I like to work with. I've got these little ones here. I've got a larger pair for different things, and then I have these very sharp ones. So I use that when I'm going to get into some, like the holes in the butterfly. So I'm just going to start cutting it out. Now you have to follow the line, otherwise you kind of mess up the whole idea. So I'm going to cut this out. Sometimes I get confused on what I'm doing, so I have to slow down and check it out. I'm usually not talking while I'm doing these either. I'm just going to do all my cutting now. One thing I forgot to mention is you can also think about, do you want your square in the middle of your, white paper or whatever color your background is, or do you want it, off to the side? I thought originally I wanted it in the middle, but then I had this long bird sticking out here, and that would have been off the paper, which would have been okay too, because this one did go off the paper. These guys here are hanging off the side, and that's all right. It's always good to go outside the box, right? So you get to decide, where you want your centered piece to be. If you want it in the middle, if you want it, off-centered, that's part of the design element. And, Notan's, it's about creating design and something of interest. All right, so now I'm going to move my butterfly and my guy up there. Put this over here, and I'm just going to do some laying out and decide where I want it to go. And if I want it symmetrical or asymmetrical. And so now it's like a puzzle. You get to play with the pieces. All right, so now I had these little details in my butterfly and my beetle. So now I'm going to take my sharp scissors. And the way I cut out in the middle of something that's, solid like that, I'm going to bend the wing a little bit. So I bend the wing, and then that way I can just carefully cut my little shape out. All right, so now I have it laid out. There we go. And I'm going to go symmetrical. All right. So now I'm going to glue, and I use this Scotch craft stick for a lot of my paper art. I also have some liquid glue that I use. It just works pretty well for me. I find that a lot of the purple sticks don't always work very well. So I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to glue, and I'm going to glue onto my edges. Oops. And this stuff sticks pretty good, so I try to get my edges. And this also is a tricky part because my fingers are going to get sticky, but it might help me pick up some of my little pieces. I'm going to put this down. And this is why I lay it out, so then I know exactly where I want my centerpiece to go. Might have shifted a little bit. And then I glue that down. This is kind of one of those patient art things, you know, little steps, kind of move slowly. This goes this way. Yeah. All right, so then I'm just gonna glue down my pieces. And I try to line them up so that there's a straight line right here. I want there to be a straight line. So that's pretty much how you do a Notan. So you just work with the negative and positive space, the light and darkness. You know, you draw some lines or some shapes, and then you cut it out and decide if you want it to be symmetrical, or which means, you know, exactly mirroring, or asymmetrical, which is a bit more, you know, it's kind of fun too because the shapes go different ways. It gives it an interesting appear.